Hi, I'm Graham Baker and welcome back to my series of podcasts about people with purpose. On today's episode, I'm joined by Annabelle, a Kent-based specialist image consultant with House of Colour, serving a wide range of clients from stay-at-home mums, small business owners, entrepreneurs, coaches, and even international clients as well. I mean, Annabelle's purpose is very much focused on bringing empowerment to both women and men, as well as helping them find their confidence to step out of their comfort zones and create impact for their own audiences, which is definitely something I'm very much on the same page with. Annabelle is here today to give us an insight in how knowing your colour and style is more than just knowing what suits you. And in her words, it allows you to have fun and the freedom to express yourself. So welcome, Annabelle. It's great to have you on the show. And, how are you feeling today?
Hi, thank you very much, Graham. I'm feeling good, actually. It's nice, lovely, sunny day. So, it's always nice when the sun's shining, isn't it?
Absolutely, it is. I mean, although it's a little bit warm where I am in my office today, but we'll get through this, and hopefully we'll be able to enjoy a little bit of that sunshine later on. So, anyway, it's really grateful for you to come on today. And so, just for everybody listening in today, just give us a little bit of an intro to yourself. How did you get involved in the styling and the colouring? What's a little bit about your background? That would be great.
Right, so thank you, Graham. As I said, I'm a stylist with House of Colour, and my mum actually had her colours done over 30 years ago. So
Wow.
when I was approaching so it was kind of in the back of my mind that I'd heard about it and I knew about it. But I was approaching my 40th birthday and I thought, do you know what? I want to do something for myself, just something for myself. I don't really want to go on holiday. I want to have a party, but just a present for myself. So I researched House of Colour and a couple of other image consultants, and I went along, wasn't really expecting a lot of it because I kind of knew about it, but didn't know what it would happen.
Mm-hmm.
And I went in there wearing, I think, beige and brown. And I thought I'm going to be an autumn because I loved orange. And, I was wearing a lot of the olive colours. And then she put, the blue on me and the purple and the green. And oh my God, Graham, you could see my face was just kind of lit up. I looked 10 years younger. I can go on that program, do 10 years younger and just show you the difference just with draped, And, and she said, you get a lot more compliments. I was just like, it's never going to happen. Yeah, I'm sure that's what they all say, but it really made a difference. And,
Wow.
So I started wearing my colours. And then just after my 40th, I went and had my style done as well. And that kind of everything just clicked together. It kind of made sense as to why I've never liked to wear the long flowy skirts, and why I can't wear trousers, or and all of a sudden, as I've said to my clients, it kind of gives you permission to be yourself. You don't have to feel that you're fitting into a role. So I used to work in banking, so banking was very much, as you have to be suited and booted. And I was in client services as well, which means you're always client facing. So you can't really stroll up, in a pair of jeans or whatever, So there's always that image that you have to portray. But I realize now that you can still do that and still be yourself. It actually coincided with the time that I found House of Colour and had my own colours done. The confidence grew so much. And at the same time, I've got a daughter who's got special needs.
Oh.
And she was struggling in mainstream school. And I had to take the LEA, to task. We had to take them to tribunal. And I thought, do you know what? In order to help my daughter be her advocate, I need to find my own voice. I need to step up. I need to stand up and go, hang on a minute, I am now speaking for my daughter. And the way that was basically, as I said, through colour and style. I found my confidence, I found my voice, and I was able to then go and say, no, actually, this is not acceptable for my daughter. She needs this help, she needs that help, etc., etc. And, and as a result, we took her out of mainstream and put into a special needs primary school. And then, there's not that many secondary schools around for her because she has speech and language disorder. And you're like, okay, I now need to start meeting head teachers, get in front of them, so that they know my daughter. And then also when it comes to sitting their panel, they'll know who she is, because they'll remember me, you know. And that's how it all came about. And then why I decided to become a personal stylist was obviously the confidence I got from that. And then, you know, I got my husband to get his colours done. I got my girls to get their colours done. My sister came over from Mauritius. I'm like, right, you know, you've got to get your colours done. It's amazing. It's so powerful, you know. And then my other sister, for her birthday, she goes, right, I'm getting my colours. And I went, hang on a second, you know. I'm so enthusiastic about this. I'm so passionate about this. I'm going to do this, you know. And it's happened that my youngest had started secondary school as well, so I didn't have to do the school runs anymore, and so it just freed up my time. And I said to my husband, I said, after working for banking and then working for him, I said, you know what, it's time for me to do something for myself. I've been mum, I've been, you know, helping my husband with his company, you know, helping him there. I was very independent before and everything, and it's now time for my turn to shine.
That's fantastic. From what I'm sort of picking up there, it's the idea that colour and style is as much about mindset as mindfulness in effect.
Absolutely, because I've got a client who she's had her colours done and she hasn't quite embraced it, and you can see it because she's still hiding. Whereas I've got another client who has fully embraced it, and oh my God, she's a walking advertisement for House of Colour and for my services, because she has just her personality has shone through, you know. I want to say her sassiness as well, you know, and that's now reflected in her work. You know, she was always, I wouldn't say she was always being made redundant, but when redundancy came round, she was like one of the first lots, whereas now she's actually going for promotions. You know, the big bosses have actually noticed her when she's in the meetings. They're like, oh yeah, you're the one with the whatever. And that's exactly what it's about. It's about being noticed. Do you know what? I've walked down Dartford High Street before. I'm just minding my own business, walking along, and someone's got, oh my God, you look so confident, you're so fabulous. I'm like, oh, thank you. You know, minding your own business in Dartford High Street, and like, oh, and you know, and that's what it is. You have that, you know, that pep to your step. You know, you get that sassiness with it, and you know, because you walk out the door knowing, yep, I look good, I feel good, I'm happy, and you know. On days that you feel really, really down, you will wear black to hide in, you know, you wear your comfy clothes and everything, and that's absolutely perfect if that's the way you feel. But sometimes if you, especially with lockdown recently, a lot of people have thought, oh, do I really have to get up to go to work? And if you get on screen on Zoom wearing your pajamas and your trackies, you're not going to feel in the right frame of mind for work. But you put your shirt on, you put a bit of makeup on, you put a jacket on, and you think, okay, I've still got my slippers on underneath, no one's going to see, but you're in that right frame of mind for actually getting on and working. That makes you, that mindset of it makes such a difference. Because when I finished work, if I'm working from home, I take my things on, I do put my, you know, my loungewear on, and I'm like, okay, I can now chill and relax. Because you now haven't got that separation of that, you know, that 40-minute drive home or that hours-long journey for you to actually decompress. And it is, you know, women, what's the first thing they do when they come home from work? Whip their bras off, and they're like, oh. You know, and it's that sort of thing. It's that for you.
That's brilliant. I mean, that to me is just a testament to just feeling good about yourself. Creates that mindset, which then leads on to, it almost feeds itself to a certain extent, doesn't it? Because you feel good, you then start wearing more stuff that makes you feel good, you start getting noticed, the confidence comes. I mean, that's just amazing. It really is. And so how long have you been doing this now as a profession?
As a consultant, I've been doing it for just over 2 years, working in London and working in banking, and then working at home, you know, and then doing this. I've met so many different people through networking. You interact with so many different industries, so many different personalities. And it's just, that journey for me has been amazing as well, because I am very much a people person, and I do, as you can probably tell by this, I do like chatting, you know. So it is about their communication, it's about chatting, it's about getting to know people. And that, for me, the networking has just been absolutely brilliant. And it's kind of forced me out of my shell as well, because I'm not a natural, hello, I'm in the room type person. I'm kind of a person who walk into the room with a glass and go, okay, who can I go and chat to, you know? And that's my personality. I'm not like, hello, this is me, I've entered the room kind of person, you know? And the networking has just kind of gotten me, like, you especially go into a new networking group, you're like, get on with it, Annabelle. Just go and say hello to the first person you see. You know, they'll either say hi or sorry, I'm busy. And I've never really had that. It's always been hello, welcome, how are you? You know, what do you do and everything.
Brilliant.
So it's made it a much more pleasant experience, definitely.
Yeah. Fair to say that confidence has come from go to a networking event, be that online or in the real world, having the style that you walk into that room, you own it. You know, you're there, you're ready to go. Whichever level of personality you are, but you're there. You're perfect for who you are at that moment. Is that?
Graham, yeah, that is what I say. Regardless of what season you are, what personality you are, your style, own it. Yeah. Are you owning your style? You will, but you know, as I said, it's like fashion. Okay, fashion and style are two completely different things. The trend at the moment is animal print and, you know, lots of bows and stuff. Well, I don't really like a lot of animal print, and a colleague of mine can wear it from head to toe and she will look fantastic. I put it on, I'm going to look like I kind of have escaped the jungle. Yeah. So I will wear just a little bit of it, maybe a little bit in my hat or a little bit on a pair of shoes, you know. So I'm kind of a nod to the trend, but it's not in my personality, you know. The same way you get these like quirky shoes and stuff. Again, that's not me. I wouldn't wear it. But I've got a client, again, who is head to toe in suit and boot, but then her personality shines through in her shoes because she's got little quirky shoes, you know, and that's the way she represents her personality in still the corporate world. And that's it. She feels so confident about it. She goes, look at my shoes, they're smiling at you, or they're winking at you, or whatever it is she's wearing that day. And that it is about, you know, just owning it.
Brilliant. I mean, that's so good. I mean, in terms of your experience with House of Colour, I mean, was that where you did all your training with? Were there any sort of key people that you mentioned your husband and your, you know, the work that you do for your daughter? You know, is it other people that have helped influence your decisions to take this route?
Actually, just doing research with the company. I mean, they've been in existence for over 30 years. They've actually got gold standard awards for investment in people. So they're a good company to work for because they actually look after, obviously, the training. You know, we've actually got amongst the consultants, we've got coaches as well. So there was a low point just after I qualified. I actually felt ill. And I was out of work for 4 months because I had a spinal infection. And so your mindset kind of all changes and everything. You're just feeling depressed and everything. You're like, oh, what, was it worth it? Blah, blah, blah. You know, so, you know, I could pick up the phone and go, can I speak to you? Can I arrange a one-to-one? So yeah, you had a bit of coaching there as well. You know, we have a conference every year, so we get lots of different people to come in and help. The team as well, because although we're all independent franchises, we also have a team as well. So to go to them as well and go, right, I need some help with this. You know, you've been in business longer, I need some advice with this. So they, as a company, have been very good at supporting us. And then also said, you know, my family, because I work from home, you know, my husband has his own business, my kids are still in school, especially during lockdown with homeschooling as well. They know that if I'm working, you know, they'll kind of be quiet or they'll wait till I finish, you know, and it's just kind of that respect as well, that they know, okay, I may be working from home, but I am still working, you know. And then also people that I've met networking, you know, like people like Brian Wakefield and, you know, Victoria Sheridan. They've all given you advice on what to do because they run networking events as well. You know, I've met a couple of other coaches as well, you know, people like Michelle Dowse, didn't have to, but she's gone through my LinkedIn. Linda as well, you know, you as well, you know, you're just commenting and giving advice on, you know, how to do your camera angles, etc. Just little things that it's not, those aren't my niches, those aren't my background. So whatever advice people give me advice, I can quite happy to soak it up, you know. Learn from others because that is their forte, isn't it? So
yeah, I think that's a massive testament to networking in general. That I think what I've found in my experience, and I'll ask you the same, but it's people approach it in the wrong way sometimes, and they think it's all about selling and everything, but it's not. I think the networking that I've done has felt very much like a family and a pool of expertise, and you know, that's how I met you. And you know, when you started talking about the confidence thing and getting people out, and I'm thinking, well, that sounds like what I do from a completely different angle, but
exactly.
It's very much the thing. It's, you know, helping people to, I like to say, get out from behind their business in front of their brand. And in a sense, that's exactly what you do as well.
Absolutely, because I said it is all about, it's getting to know that person as well, isn't it? And how do you get to know that person without, talking to them? As I said, I don't go into a room thinking I've got to make 6 sales. No, I'm going to, talk to 6 people, learn more about them. As they said, people buy from people. I don't like everybody. Not everybody's going to like me. They may have had their style done by somebody else, and that's fine. I'm not going to tell them and say, well, actually, you look a bit rubbish. You need to come to me, because it's none of my business. If they want to come to me, if they feel that there is a need for me, by all means. The same way, I feel that if I need someone to do my will, then I have spoken to several people. I've spoken, to 4 or 5 different people about wills. If I need a solicitor, I know about 7 different solicitors, so it is about then picking that person that you think, actually, yeah, I can quite happily have a chat with you for an hour and a half, and it's not going to feel really, really tedious. And it is about building relationships at the end of the day. And that's what it's all about, I think.
Definitely.
And then as you build you get to know the real person, and then you're like, actually, do you know what? I could work with you, or be like, yeah, okay, there's something why I just can't work with you. It works both ways.
Absolutely. And again, it goes back to what you do anyway, is that helping people to sort of walk into a room at a networking event and feel confident and be ready to talk to people. Lifts their game up. I think that's very powerful kind of service to give people. I think it really is.
What? I have a client who also I met through my daughter's footballing, and I didn't realize that she had breast cancer. Oh. We're just at football. I'm not advertising my services, and we got talking about the poncho I was wearing. Okay, it was, just chatting as you do. And she goes, oh, because I hadn't seen her in about a year. She goes, oh, what is it you do? And I said, oh, I'm now trained as a colour consultant, etc. She goes, oh my God, yep, do you know what? I'm going to come and see you. Okay, so she came. Graham, when she looked, she could not look at herself in the mirror. Okay, and I'm like, I need to see your face in order to see how the colours reflect upon you. Okay, so she could just see her eyes like this, and I'm like, I need to see your face. By the end of the session, when we discovered what season she was, you could visibly see her sitting up like this. She's looking at herself in the mirror. She's going, oh my God, I really love that colour. Oh, it was a completely different person. She left my studio and I was in tears, because I could just see it's just changed her life.
You're talking about it.
And, she sends me photos. What do you think of this? She sent me a message recently, and she goes, her partner, obviously she hasn't been able to see her partner, but she has now. He said, you look stunning in those colours, and she goes, I've been with him for 7 years and I've never heard him say you look stunning in those colours. So the boost of confidence, as you can imagine, to her, especially after having breast cancer, was just, that's it, that is what I do, help people.
You're not selling style and colour, you're selling confidence and mindset. That's what you're about. Colour and styling is a byproduct to what people actually
you. Exactly.
That's brilliant. That's so good.
So I look at some of the photos I had before, and I was always in the background and everything, and now I would be like, I'm here, not quite. But I'll make sure that I'm wearing something bright enough, so if everyone else is wearing black, at least they'll be like, aha, that's where Annabelle is.
That's right, stand out. Fantastic. And so I don't really want to go into lockdown as such, but we'll talk about that later. But in terms of the last 12 months, what's been, the key things? How has the business changed, or are you seeing more and more people becoming interested in it? What's the market like, if that makes sense?
It's a difficult question, because I, as a consultant, think a lot of people need the help, but if they okay, some people know that they need to lose weight, but if you tell them they need to lose weight, they're not going to do it. It needs to come from them. So so for me, my milestone was reaching my 40th. My client, she wanted to be more noticed for promotion. Another client of mine, she's been at home for a year, being a stay-at-home mum. She's going back into business. She's lost her confidence. She just wanted that kind of bit more confidence with getting back into the workplace. So yes, I can turn around and say, in a room full of people, probably about 30 people will need to have their colours and style done. But if they're not ready to receive that information, there's nothing I'm going to say that will actually make them realise that that's what it is. So it's about just being there and being noticed. And then when it comes to when it comes to them, they'll be like, okay, do you know what? I'm now ready. Let me go to Annabelle. I remembered her. I've noticed her. She looks exactly like what she says, she's confident, she's out there and whatever. I want what she's got. And if that's what someone says to them, I'm like, right, that's what it's all about. Giving someone that inspiration. And I hope that I am an inspiration to other people. So when the time comes for them to do it, then they'll think of me.
I like that. That's very much a similar ethos to me. It's, I'm not there to sort of push my sales and, talk about what I can do as a photographer or videographer. It's more about, look, this is the result. This is the people that I'm helping. And I will talk about it. Of course I will. And you talk about your clients. And then when people see that, they see the result, they see that and think, well, actually, I feel a bit like that.
Yeah.
Then and creating those and developing those relationships, that's key. And I think that a lot of people are still getting that wrong in today's age, especially online. I'm sure it's the same for you. You connect with someone on LinkedIn and it's buy my stuff. And you're like, no, go away.
Yeah. I get people, and then the minute I accept their request, they've sent me out and I'm like, no, you've not actually read what I do. I have nothing to do with finance and banking anymore. That was, 15, 16 years ago, read my bio. It's just about pushing their own services. And it's not about that. It is about, as you said, showing the end results. And then it's down to them gelling with that person, chatting away. It's, just finding that connection. It's always about connection, isn't it?
Very much so. It's I say it a lot, but it's that saying, I don't know where it comes from or who said it, but it's the contributing to the rising tide. The rising tide lifts all the boats in the harbour, and by sharing and working together is what that's all about. I'm very much along those lines. So I mean, back to you though. We're talking about networking and things like that, but I mean, you've already touched on a lot of it. Could you just sort of give me an example of how I just say I'm come to you and I said, Annabelle, I need you to sort my colours out. What's the process? How does it work?
So you say, right, I need some help. I'm like, thank you very much. Come along, So you come to my studio. We'll just obviously be chatting and finding out, first of all, finding out why you want to have your colours done. Is it for confidence? Is it because someone's bought you a present? Is it because you're going for promotion? Is it because you just feel you're being invisible, which was in my case, I felt very, very invisible. So just to find out what the motive is, behind that. And then, obviously then we work out your colours, because we have 144 drapes that we have to use, so it's finding out. So we work on the, if you're a cool or if you're warm. And then if you're warm, you'll either be autumn or spring. And then if you're a cool, you'll either be winter or summer. So I'm a winter. So colours like coral and orange and olive are going to look horrendous on me. I will put olive on and I look like Shrek. Okay, I kind of take that green tinge to myself. If I put mustard on, someone did actually say, "You were right." I went, "What do you mean?" She goes, "You look really yellow," and I'm like, okay, and I'm like, it looks as though I've got jaundice, so I'm like, okay, I just stay away from those colors, so it's about finding those colors. And then you then get a season of, you will then drape you and find out which is your best colors within the season. You go out and you go shopping with me.
So we go
through. Obviously, for a woman, we'll then find their makeup as well. We find the best lipsticks, etc. for that. And I also do men as well. I've got a couple of male clients as well. I've actually taken some of them shopping because they're like, "Oh my God, this is just the worst part. How do I find all these colors?" So I'll go and then take them to shops because even as women, as men, you kind of form a habit, and you will always go to the same shops. You won't try different ones. You know that you've got clothes in there that will suit you. You will go in there and buy 7 shirts. So with my male client, I remember I took him to different shops. They're like, "I've never thought of going into this shop. I've never thought of this color," And it's about training them and educating them as well, so that they can then go to the shops themselves and go, "Aha, this is one of my colors. Aha, this is one of my style, you know, all about education and training.
That's great. You mentioned men there. I mean, are you seeing that more men are becoming more interested, or do you still think there's a
Oh,
stigma?
yeah. I think there's two kinds of men that come to my studio. One where their wives have pushed them to it because they've had such a great experience and they
Right.
want their husbands to have it. Or it's the younger guys as well who are realizing that they need to stand out because for whatever reason, everybody, you know, wearing blue and black suits, they want to stand out for promotion. They want to get ahead, and they know that in order to get ahead, they need to be noticed. You know, that old adage, you know, you don't get a second chance to make a first impression.
Like that.
First impressions make such a difference, you know. So by going out there, making that first impression, people will remember you. You know,
Yeah.
when I go into a networking meeting and I meet people, there'll be something about them. They'll be, oh, they've got that quirky tie on, or they've got that quirky pin on, or they've got, you know, those sassy shoes on. You know, that's how I remember people. So that when I meet them the next time, you'll be like, oh yeah, you're the one that had that really funny tie on. I remember you, you know. And that's the way I work. It's making that first impression, isn't it? And as I said, I think guys have cottoned on to it as well now and thinking, yeah. And I think for men as well, I think they're quite lucky in that they can buy their clothes and the fashion trends don't change that much. So whatever they buy will kind of stay the same, but they can add a little bit to it. So my husband goes shopping once a year, you know, he'll get his old yeah, and he doesn't have to go again, whereas I will go, you know, 2 or 3 times in the year to update my wardrobe. He's got a DJ, that's it, that's going to suit him for the, you know, no one's going to make a comment, oh, you wore that last year now, didn't you? So much easier for men.
That's actually a really good point. I mean, in terms of, do you find, actually sort of leading on from that, do you find that some people have too many clothes? You know, I went through a process myself back in January where I literally did I don't know what you call it, a purge, and I did that, and it was actually a really cathartic experience. I mean, do you find that a lot with clients?
Yes, because they will buy clothes that they think are a bargain. Okay, it's been £100, it's now reduced to £25. Would you have bought it when it was £100? Probably not. So why are you going to wear it at £25 and it's just going to sit in your wardrobe? So it'll sit in their wardrobe, they won't wear it, or they can only wear it with one outfit. Okay, and then you haven't got that cost per wear. A lot of people will wear 20% of their wardrobe and 80% is just left there hanging, gathering dust, or it doesn't fit, or it's not the wrong style, or it's something that you wore when you were 16 that you're never ever going to fit into. You know, ripped jeans, you know, when you're 40, whatever, is just not a good look, you know, for me. You know?
Yeah.
That's why, and I'm actually doing a capsule wardrobe challenge at the moment. So I have got 12 items of clothing, which I've got to wear for the month, just to prove that with those 12 items, I actually have enough clothes to make a different outfit for a whole month. So even if you've got less of your wardrobe, you get more wearing, because you'll be like, oh, I can match this with this and put this with this. And let your imagination run wild with it and go for it.
Have you done that before? Have you sort of like literally gone? I've seen some of the TV shows where they go into people's wardrobes and go, right, that's all got to go. I mean, have you done stuff like that? I mean, that must be quite an interesting experience.
One of my clients, I knew what her colours were and I knew what her style was. So we'd gone through her wardrobe and obviously first thing we did was get rid of all the colours that don't suit her. Okay. So once we got rid of all the colours that don't suit her, was it in the right style? Okay. If it was in the right style, could she dye it? Okay, and then make it her colour. Okay, if we could work it and everything, that's fine. And then the rest of it just went, you know, to charity shops, or whatever. I think she sold a couple of bits as well, and they did an exchange. And then that way, again, you've then got a wardrobe that's curated for you. You know it's in your colours, you know it's in your style, so that when you then go and do shopping, you will pick up a jacket and go, that's going to go with 3 of my trousers, it's going to go with 4 of my skirts, it's going to go with 7 of my shirts. It's that one jacket that's cost you 70 or 80 quid, but you've then actually, it's not just one jacket, it's, I don't know, 30 outfits. You say, and that's the way we've got to look at it, especially, you know, in the stage of, you know, sustainability as well, and looking to be a little bit more ethical. It's all well and good, you know, spending £100 in Primark, but are those clothes going to last you a whole season?
Yeah,
Where you're
I'm
better off
actually,
buying 2 or 3 really good quality things that will last you 7 years than lasting you 1 season.
sorry, I
It's just, I think it's just thinking that way.
did mention, I forget the phrase now. You said something about cost per
Cost
value,
per wear, cost per
cost per
wear.
wear.
Yeah.
Expand on that. What is that again?
Okay, so for example, I have a pink jacket. Okay, that's cost me, £100. It may seem a little bit pricey, but as I said, I know that pink jacket will go with most of my wardrobe. If not, in fact, it will go with all of my wardrobe. I can dress it up or dress it down. So it may have cost £100, but every time I wear it with those jeans, with that skirt, the cost of it goes down. If I have bought a cheap jacket from, I have to say, Primark, that's cost me £10, and I've worn it a couple of times and then it's ripped under the shoulder, I've bought, it's cost me £10 and I've got 2 wears out of it. Whereas that jacket that I've worn, I've got to get rid of it. That jacket that cost me £100 has lasted me 8 years. How much does it cost you then by the end of the 8 years? It's pennies then, isn't it? And you know that one jacket is worn with so many different outfits. And that's what we're trying to improve and teach and educate ourselves as consultants, as well as our clients, that may be a little bit more expensive, but when you break it down at the end of the day, you think of a pair of shoes or a pair of boots, you buy a really expensive pair of boots, you can reheal it. You can get, 10 years wear out of it. You buy a pair of sandals, or a pair of flip-flops, it's cost you £2, they'll just last you the summer.
No, that's really, really interesting. Really interesting, because it's, especially today with the whole, as you say, ethics and sustainability is very much high on a lot of people's agendas. So
I mean, it's something that's new to, I think, to all of us. I mean, those who are obviously very much aware of it are going to be a lot more educated about it, and I'm still learning about it. Pre all this, I'd have been quite happy to go into a shop and just buy a t-shirt for £2 and not think anything of it and think, oh, do you know what, it's fine, it's only £2, I can bin it. But now I'm thinking a little bit more and thinking, oh, actually, do you know what, it does make sense to do that, and then you see the landfill. My sister is just, so last year she was part of this eco cleanup of Aldabra Islands in the Seychelles. So it's one of the low-lying atolls. And so all the debris that you throw away at the beach after your rave at Brighton or Glastonbury, or whatever it is, thing, it all washes into the ocean. It actually then ends up reaching countries like the Seychelles. And then she said they must have picked up, they were there for 6 weeks, and I think they picked up something like 80 tons of rubbish and debris. Where's that going to go? And we live in such a throwaway society that they don't think anything of it, but it goes somewhere. The ecosystem in the Seychelles, especially around there, is being destroyed. The turtles, the animals that live there, whatever. What we do all has an effect on somebody else or something else down the line, and we just need to be a little bit more aware of it. I think we just need to be a little bit more aware, and I think just be a little bit more conscious as well. But I'm not going to preach.
No. It's, if everybody did a little bit, it adds up to a lot, and I think that's probably, we'll kind of leave it there. Otherwise, we'll get into in-depth conversations about it. I mean, it's been brilliant. I mean, you talk about, we'll come back to that as such, is that you talk about, looking at that value, the value per wear, the cost per wear, etc. I mean, that's a fantastic tip and an idea. But I mean, do you have any other sort of, what would be your top tips or top tip for someone looking to buy new outfits, or kind of other than having expert advice, of course? What would you suggest?
If you haven't had your colours and your style done, obviously I would recommend you get that done, because it may seem expensive initially, but you're actually saving money in the long run, and time as well, because you can go into a shop and go, actually, none of these are my colours, so you leave the shop, or you go in and go, actually, none of these are my style, so you leave the shop. So you're saving money in that respect, because you're only going to buy clothes that suit you and will fit you, and then also time as well. And in the morning, you can pick up a shirt, a pair of trousers, a jacket, pair of shoes. Will take you minutes, as opposed to thinking what goes with what. So my top tip, if you haven't had that done, is think when you're buying something, will this go with anything else in my wardrobe? Be it a pair of jeans, be it a pair of shoes, be it a shirt, will it go? Okay, and that way at least you'll get a little bit more wear out of it. And my second tip is, if you're going to buy something, buy the best that you can afford. Yeah, because as I said, it is that, again, that cost per wear. You will get more out of it than you would just thinking it's a fad, it's a fashion trend as well.
You know, it's fair to say quality versus quantity every time when it comes to that.
Because also, if it's a quality made suit, for example, you would probably say, supposing you spent £600 on a suit, okay, and it's been made, you can, if you lose weight, okay, you can have it taken in. If you put on weight, you can then take it out. So that £600 for that suit is going to last you when you're a bit bigger, when you're a bit smaller. If you've bought a suit that's cost you £100, you can't take it in, you can't loosen it, and so you're thinking, I can't wear that suit now until I've lost weight or whatever, you know. So again, that's why I said you always buy quality, because then you can always take it in and expand as you fluctuate, especially with COVID.
I mean, it's back to that sustainability again. It all touches on that. You know, the fact that if I buy £100 suit and I try it and then I put on a bit of timber during the winter or whatever, I might just think, oh, it was only £100. I might as well just go and get another one. But when you've invested in it, you're more inclined to actually, well, I invested in that. I'll take care of it. I'll look after it.
Take care of it. Exactly. Yeah.
Well, I do like that. That's really good. So, what's next for you, Annabelle? Where you've been doing this for a few years. It sounds like you're having an absolute blast with it and really enjoying it. And I think you clearly get a lot of satisfaction and seeing the transformation you're doing for people. What's next for you?
For me, it's now doing more workshops and educating people. I mean, pre-lockdown, I was actually asked to do a couple of workshops for women returning back to work. So giving them help and advice on what to wear, how to dress and everything. And then also doing, for students as well. I think our younger generation, they just need that little guidance. My daughter, when she was going for her work experience, was like, oh, what do I wear, mummy? Can I wear leggings? I'm like, no, you're going into a corporate environment. Up in London, you do not just wear leggings and a t-shirt with a pair of trainers. You've got to dress for that environment. So I think it's just giving them hints and tips and educating them so that they know. Again, it's making that first impression. At the moment, one job application, so one thing, you will probably have about 50 applicants for it. So what are you going to do that's going to get yourself stood out so that the interviewer will go, aha, I remember her, or I remember him. So for me, it's all about education, teaching them how to do it. My mum always used to say, oh, you've heard before, you can give a man a fish, but if you teach him how to fish, he can then feed his family. So again, if you teach the younger generation how to dress or what to dress for, then they can then take that on. And it's not just for that interview, for that one job. It's something that it's a skill that they will take with them for the rest of their life, because it's a skill that you will keep on giving,
Have you already started doing sort of training with younger generation, and how does that?
We'd actually just started setting up things pre-COVID, and that I was in talks with a few of the schools as well. So I think once we know what's happening with the schools when they go back, it's then they obviously have to set everything up. Obviously, we're going to have lots of different ways of doing it. I could end up doing more things online like this, doing it to a seminar or something like this, or actually going into the rooms or into the schools and doing that. And I think also at the moment, for me, sad to say, is that with a lot of redundancies, a lot of people probably haven't interviewed in 15, 20 years, and things have changed. So interviews have been done online. If you've not interviewed in 20 years, how do you interview again? So again, it's teaching them, obviously you've got people who will teach you how to do the interview techniques, but again, it's teaching them, how to stand out on screen. And so things like that, letting your personality shine through. Because when you go into a meeting, you can get the essence of the person when you meet them face to face, but online, it's a little bit different. And it's all those little skills that people will have to learn how to do nowadays, I think. Going more international, I think. I've got a family who live abroad, so I'll be like, right, okay, that's it, I'm gonna go. And but then, I mean, to be fair, House of Colour is already an international brand. So we've got consultants in the US, we've got consultants in the Middle East, we've now got consultants in, in Europe, in Australia. I don't think we've got any in Africa yet. So who knows? Watch this space.
Opportunities are calling.
Yeah. Why not?
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like there's lots of opportunities to expand and do more, especially with technology, sort of better technology, be able to do more things online.
I was just going to say, with COVID, we've had to turn a lot of our services online. So Style is now gone virtual. So it also makes it a lot easier, because now instead of my client bringing 6 or 7 items to my studio, they will just open their wardrobe and I have access to their whole wardrobe, and we can see what works for them and everything. Again, then, do your wardrobe detoxing, online shopping as well, because a lot of people still don't know their colors and their style, or they haven't got the time or the energy to do it. And they're like, well, actually, you're the expert. You know what suits me. Here's my budget. Just pick and choose some outfits for me. And if I like it, then I'll buy it. If not, I'll send it back. So I think with every industry, we've had to make changes in order to survive and future-proof ourselves, I think, as well.
Very much so. It was interesting you said a few moments ago about the interviews, because I've had that myself, that clients come to me and ask for advice because they're scared about, or they have fears around being on video, and they want to look their very best. So done similar kind of activities, not from a style perspective, but from good positioning and framing and lighting and all those things, and definitely opportunities to corroborate further on those things.
Yeah, I mean, because I watched your video as well, on how to do the styling, because I think you did that with Jasmine as well, didn't you, about the positioning of the things, and
right, yeah.
And something which you would think was common sense, but people don't actually think about it sometimes. Sometimes you just need someone saying, well, actually, raise your laptop up a little bit, put a light, instead of doing it, with the light behind you, have that in, etc. So it's just those little tips that people go, oh yeah, kind of makes sense, but why didn't I think of it?
Yeah, but imagine that sort of combined experience of, you've got the lighting and the positioning and the camera work done, you've got your colours and your style done, you're unstoppable.
God, we would make a formidable team, wouldn't we?
But that's not what we're here for today. We're just having a chat, right? I mean, that's just sounds fantastic. I mean, I've seen and read your testimonials where clients have, written stuff about you, and it's clear that they're talking the truth. There's no doubts about that whatsoever. It's good social proof of what you're doing. Really does help people from beyond what they're wearing to becoming more confident and being able to get out of their comfort zones. And I think that's something I like to do. I like to push people a little bit outside their comfort zones each time. When I'm coaching, getting better on video and things like that. It's little pushes, and you're doing exactly the same thing. By doing that, they realise that, wow, I am who I am supposed to be. Fantastic. I hope you've enjoyed today. I mean, is there anything else, any pearls of wisdom or anything else you'd like to say that for anybody listening here, you've given us so much today?
Just that if Graham asks you to do an interview, say thank you. Yes, I will do it, because I think, as you said, it's just, what is it you say, you help to find, the person behind the business, and that's what it is. You give the person a chance to shine, to explain how they came about, because I've been watching some of your other interviews that you did, with Jasmine, with Alison, and the way you come across as well is that, you make people really, really relaxed. You're like, that's fine, just chilling and chatting, and that's a skill in itself. So pearls of wisdom: go out and enjoy yourself. Have fun. Learn to embrace colour. Don't shy away from it. So get out of your black. Embrace life. Life is too short. Live life in colour.
We could probably talk for hours about that stuff. It's very much, just is too short to worry about what other people think negatively about. That's their opinion, and their opinion is none of my business. Get out of that comfort zone and meet those people and talk to those people. Surround yourself with people that lift you rather than pull you down. And that's what I do. And that's why I do these podcasts, because I get people on that I like to work with, and hopefully people will see this and they'll go, actually, those are the kinds of people I want to work with too. And that's what I like. People with purpose, people with story, and I think that's really important to share. So yeah.
And I think you said something very, very interesting. What other people think about you is none of your business. Yeah, you can't control what they think. You can only control your own actions. If someone doesn't like you, that's fine. I've walked away from toxic friendships before because it just brings you down. It drags you down. You don't need that sort of negativity. It's just you need to surround yourself with people who are going to be positive and are going to embrace and help you and assist you. The same way you will do the same for other people as well. And it is about, as I said, it's that positive mindset and find their light, shine from within.
Definitely. And it's that, again, added to that, sort of being able to be yourself and not worry about it. And then what you find is that you are attracting the right people, the people that you do want to work with. You talk about confidence. The more confident you are because you've got the right colours, you've got the right style. You talked about your client who had breast cancer and the fact that she literally sat up and was ready to go and ready to take on the world, and her husband or a partner was complimentary, and that feeds itself. More people will see that and they'll go, I want to be with that person, I want to speak to that person, and that attraction. And the interviews that you were talking about, helping let's say your daughter was going for a job interview, I mean, that's just so key to sort of, because it's not just about, they might remember what she was wearing, but they were more so will remember that confidence that she was feeling because she knew she looked good and felt good about herself and was for her personality. That's absolutely brilliant. I must try and wrap this up because we can literally talk about this sort of stuff for hours, and I'm no doubt we probably will have further conversations around.
Graham's all about positive mindset. And as I said, we as a company that we've done it like with everybody else. I think you've been doing a lot of teaching kids how to take photos. It's just giving them something to do as well, isn't it? So
giving. That would always be my top advice. Don't go out there expecting it, but just give, and it will come. It will come.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. It's all about that, because I don't think you're giving to receive either. You're giving because you want to help people. If you get something out of it, fantastic. If not, you've changed someone's life. So
it's back to that saying I said earlier. We're contributing to the rising tide, and a rising tide lifts everybody. If everybody wins, not just the few. And I think that's what I'm about. Absolutely. Very much the community and everything else. And clearly you are as well. So I think that I'm going to wrap this up because, again, I've done it twice now already. I've had an absolute blast chatting to you today, Annabelle. It's been absolutely loads of pearls of wisdom. We're very much on the same page for a lot of this stuff, helping people get out of their comfort zones, helping people stand out, become confident, go on to bigger and better things. I mean, that I get a huge amount of satisfaction from that. And I can see that you do too, especially what people write about you and what they say about you. So thanks ever so much for joining me today. It's been definitely a highlight. So, thanks ever so much.
Thank you very much.